Well, breaking news tonight, the most popular Republican in the nation, New Jersey Governor Christie, speaking tonight in Iowa. Here's what he just said about why he is supporting Mitt Romney as the presidential candidate.
Shares my value. Also, he is the only person who I believe can legitimately take the fight to Barack Obama this November. And so as Republicans, we know we love our party. But I will tell you that if you're looking for the candidate who agrees with you on everything, buy a mirror. Okay? Buy a mirror, because that's the only one you're going to find that agrees with you on everything.
And before he could even talk, though, he got heckled, and he loved it.
Christie and Mitt Romney.
You got this. Oh, yeah. Hold on for a second. Well, you know, no. Hey. Yeah.
All right, let's bring in CNN contributor John Avlon, former President Bush speechwriter David Frum, and Ned Ryun, the founder and president of American Majority. Just to know, I believe what his exact words at the end of that little interaction were, "Oh, now y'all went all New Jersey on me and everything. I'm ready to go." So he had a sense of humor about it. John Avlon, what do you think about Christie? Can he turn this around for Mitt Romney? I mean, he was socially liberal, right? So but the Tea Party loves Christie because he's conservative when it comes to financial matters. Can he win them over?
That's right. Well, you know, what we're seeing right now is the Romney campaign pivoting. They're putting forward their biggest guns, someone who's clearly comfortable with conflict and can speak to the base, but still has credibility across the board. By deploying Christie to Iowa right now, they're saying, look, they're going to double down playing in Iowa. You're seeing them running ads as well, trying to humanize their candidate, but it shows the power of a strong endorsement, someone who might be more popular than the candidate themselves, trying to really take the fight and play offense in Iowa.
Ned, do you think he can turn it around for Mitt?
You know, I really don't know. I mean, I will say it's a good move for the Romney campaign. Christie is definitely popular with a lot of Tea Partiers across the country, but, you know, as we've seen, Mitt can't get past the 25% ceiling. Is Christie going to be able to make a better sale? I don't know. But it's a good move for the Romney campaign. I'm not going to deny that.
David Frum, is this a sign of, I mean, I guess this is a sign of real desperation, though, for Mitt Romney, in the sense of you got to pull out Christie now to try to move the needle?
I think it's a sign of desperation among party donors and the party punditariat. One of the most frightening things in the various polls...
Punditariat? Is that a new word here?
I just made it up.
Lexicon? I like it.
I just made it up. In the recent polling data has been the discovery that lots of Republican activists and base voters think of Newt Gingrich as electable, almost equally electable as Mitt Romney. And yet the people who write the party's checks and run the party's campaigns and hold office do not think so. They see Newt Gingrich as a Barry Goldwater disaster waiting to happen. And so what you're seeing with the bringing forward of people like Christie is a plea to the party: do not make this mistake. I know you and all of your neighbors may love Newt Gingrich, but the country is full of people who remember the Clinton impeachment and don't want to relitigate that.
All right. So today, Newt Gingrich came on with Wolf Blitzer, and there was a lot of very generous Newt, actually. He was talking about Mitt Romney, praising him, calling him competent, saying he would support him if he became the nominee. It said he would pick him as a VP potentially if it came down to the two of them. And listen to this.
I wish everybody had loved me, but I'd rather be effective representing the American people than be popular inside Washington.
What do you think, John?
He's very gently responding to the pretty personal criticism he's been getting a lot from his former colleagues from back in the 1990s.
Yeah, it's been pretty harsh and nasty stuff.
It has, but you know, when you're on top, you get to sort of be above the fray, and that's he's trying to put forward that new, improved, mature Newt. It's fascinating. I mean, you look at all the polls right now. Yeah. He's the Tea Party candidate. You have this outsider insurgent force backing the ultimate insider. Put 'em up. Yeah. And that is a fascinating role reversal, and among other things, it really shows the depth of frustration with the Romney camp, that they'll circle around even this ultimate insider as an alternative to Mitt Romney right now.
David Frum, I'm curious about one thing, and I know John Avlon did a really great story on this today, the next endorsements, but the current you've got Kid Rock, you know, the singer. I can't sing the song. I won't hurt anyone's ears. But anyway, he is coming on board with Mitt Romney, going to be the songwriter for his campaign. Maybe this endorsement will matter where others like Christie haven't. But David Frum, Newt Gingrich hasn't gotten endorsements really, and it hasn't mattered.
It hasn't. Endorsements give a feeling of inevitability. But the question people should ask is, why are there no endorsements of Newt Gingrich? The thing he said in that clip, well, I'd rather be effective than be popular in Washington. The reason he's not popular in Washington is precisely that he wasn't effective. Republicans lost seats in 1998, and Newt Gingrich had to resign. Even before that, leadership in the House of Representatives passed a Tom DeLay because Newt Gingrich couldn't work the caucus. The open secret among those who were close to him and knew him in those years was he was not very good at that job. And he was great at getting the majority, but he's not good at exercising or keeping the majority. That's what the bitterness is about, ineffectiveness.
All right, let's play a soundbite from Mitt Romney today, because it seems like he's trying a much tougher, harder-edged side. Here he is on President Obama.
Internationally, President Obama has adopted an appeasement strategy, like others among the Washington elite. He believes that America's role as the leader of the world is a thing of the past.
Ned, that's a tougher, stronger Mitt, but also a Mitt that's very clearly trying to make it about him versus Obama instead of him versus Newt.
It really is. I mean, the thing that's interesting to me right now is the fact that Romney is realizing we're less than 30 days away from Iowa. Newt's very strong in the polls. But, Aaron, if I could,
yes.
The irony to me in some of this is here you have two poster children for many of the issues that the Tea Party came out against. You know, individual health care mandates, TARP, you know, with Newt, Medicare Part D, you know, historian for Freddie. But I think what you're seeing now, you know, Mitt's taking a strong stance. He realizes that Newt is definitely a threat, because the grassroots is looking at this and really going anybody but Mitt. They've cycled through, you know, Bachmann and Kaine and Perry, and all of a sudden, lo and behold, last man standing, it looks like, is Newt Gingrich. It really does boil down to anybody but Mitt. I think it's going to be very interesting to see, though. I mean, Mitt has much better infrastructure. Newt has basically admitted they're flying by the seat of their pants. They're less than 30 days away. So I'm going to be very interested to see what happens in Iowa. Is Newt going to pull a Howard Dean? What happens here in about 4 weeks?
I just want to mention this appeasement rhetoric. 5 of the 6 candidates who spoke today at the RJC used that rhetoric of appeasement, a reference to Neville Chamberlain. This is the 70th anniversary of Pearl Harbor. And there's something a little bit beyond the pale of raising those sort of specters and attaching them to the American president. You can have policy differences, you can have stylistic differences, you can have substantive differences, but raising that particular specter on this particular date, that seems to me in bad taste at least.
Aaron,
yes. Go ahead.
If I could, too, I think the interesting thing with Newt, and I've pointed this out to many Tea Party leaders, I talk with many of them across the country, some of them are sitting on the sidelines, and I think very wisely at this point, being very pragmatic, very just keeping their powder dry. But the one concern that some of them have expressed, and that I think is there, is that they're projecting upon Newt Gingrich their hopes that he'll be a conservative champion. I think some of his behavior in the past 15 years has shown otherwise. So I think it's going to be, Newt's got a lot to be able to still convince people that he is an authentic conservative. And I think, you know, he and Mitt, especially Mitt, have a lot of ground to make up with the Tea Party movement. All
right, but is it done, David Frum? I mean, as John Avlon's saying, you know, you're less than 30 days away at this point.
I don't think it's done. I think things move very fast. And the points that Ned made, I mean, that if your complaint against Mitt Romney is that he's been on too many different sides of too many issues, Newt Gingrich has been on more sides of more issues. If your complaint is that
he was in Congress, for God's sakes.
But he's unusual. What people think is that anyone who's so vehement and violent in his speech as Newt Gingrich is can't. I mean, he must be sincere. And the fact that he was just as vehement 3 days ago when he said the opposite thing, he must have been sincere then too. If Mitt Romney's greatest vulnerability is the health care mandate, well, Newt Gingrich was in favor of that. In fact, that was the Republican alternative to the Bill and Hillary Clinton health care plan when Newt Gingrich was leader of the Republican Party in the House of Representatives. There's a kind of, as Ned said, there's a kind of unreality about the whole Gingrich campaign. I think that is going to come home, and it's above all going to be the case that with Newt Gingrich, the Republican Party is making this an election about the past, about the Republican past, and not about President Obama's record, which is what Out Party should want to make the election about.
All right, well, thank you, David, Ned, John, appreciate it. I think David's got a fair point. A lot of people don't realize some of those things you just said, so we'll see when they do if their views change or not. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Aaron.